Hi there, I thought we'd make a video on replacing axle seals. We've got a couple leaks going on here. I'll show you. Working on a 94 Jeep Wrangler with an inline 6. This is a Dana 30 axle. As you can see right here, we got a seal leak. Leaking differential fluid on the driver's side, also over here on the passenger side. So we're going to do a little tutorial about how to fix those. So here's some of the things you're going to need. Long threaded rod here, and we'll get to that to pull the new seal in place. Here's what the new seal on the passenger side is going to look like. I'll list the, that's the part number for it there, but I'll list it at the end of the video. You need some new RTV. Here's a gasket for the CAD housing. Here's the seal for the passenger side, or the driver's side. It's a little bit different shaped, and we'll get to that too. Here's a part number for it. Here's another view of where that axle seal is leaking. You want to be sure to disconnect the battery before you get started. Once you got your wheels chalked and jacked up here, you're going to obviously remove the tires. Next step, we're going to take the brake calipers off. See if I can get a light back here and show you. So we're going to undo a couple of bolts. This one here, and then at the bottom of the brake caliper, right down there. Those two bolts are going to come off, and the brake caliper will swing out of the way and hang in place. Alright, we got the brake caliper mounting bolts out. There you go. Brake caliper slips out of the way. We're going to take a wire and hang it up. You don't want to put too much torque on the brake line there. I'm going to pull the brake rotor out of the way. There we go. Now we're going to go do the other side. We're going to start the differential draining. We're going to loosen the bolts, kind of pry it away from the bottom, and drain out all the gear oil into the pan here. Take the bolts out of the differential cover here. I like to keep them in order. I like to keep a lot of the bolts and things in order. It's real important later on. We'll get to that when we are actually working on the differential itself. But this part is just kind of my habit. So I'm leaving the top bolt in the cover there, and there we go. Let that drain. Alright, so I'm on the back side of the passenger side now, and underneath we have a shift motor housing here, which we're going to have to take these 4 bolts off, and there might be a little bit of differential fluid in there. And what this is, it's actually run by a vacuum that moves a little fork in there, that moves a shift collar that engages the axle, which puts you into 4-wheel drive. And we'll show you when we pull the axle out, there's a intermediate and an outer part to the axle, and the seal one of the seals we're going to replace is like right down to the right of the shift housing there. Next we're going to remove these 3 bolts. There's one here, one there, and one back here. They're a 12-point socket. You really need a 12-point socket to do it. And they secure the hub assembly to the steering knuckle. So we're going to loosen those up, and we don't want to take them all the way out. We're just going to loosen them a bit. Just to give us some room to pound this axle out. We're going to remove this tie rod in here to give us a little play with the axle so we can move it back and forth, give us room to work. So we're going to pull the cotter pin out and then remove that castle nut there. You may have to give it a little tap to pop it out there. Now you can move the axle where you need it. Alright, so remember these hub assembly bolts? We're just loosening them, backing them out about 3/8 of an inch or so. And we're going to use that space to drive the axle out. So as you can see, he's slowly working that axle out as he's pounding on those hub assembly bolts.
Oh yeah, it's loose now.
And then once you have the axle loose, it should just slide out. There's the driver's side. So there's the shift collar there, and Jason is working on getting the passenger side outer axle out, and when he pulls it out, it's actually part of the axle right there. This is the shift collar, and this is what slides you in and out of four-wheel drive right there.
Pound out the last part right here. And now the axle is loose.
Okay, now that we got the outer axle out, I can remove the shift collar here. Okay, next we need to get the intermediate shaft out, but before we can do that, we actually need to drive the axle seal, the passenger side axle seal. Let me get a light in there. Axle seal right in there. We need to drive that out so we can get that shaft out. Alright, so we're in the shift housing box here, and the seals there. Jason can use a rod. You got it.
That's it.
And he just pounded the bad seal out. Okay, so here's the bad seal that we're going to replace. Okay, we got the old seal out. Now we're going to pull the intermediate shaft out to give us enough room to install our new axle seal. Okay, next we're going to remove the bearing caps off of the differential here. So you can see I have the 4 bolts on the bearing cap labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to keep real close track of the left and right bearing caps so they go back exactly the same. Four. 1, 2.
Right side. Yep.
So we're going to block the differential with a wrench there and then use a pry bar very carefully, avoiding any of the teeth of the differential. We're going to get just a little bite on the lip there and give it a little tug to slip the differential out. This is where you want to be very careful not to damage your differential. Just a little nudge like that is all it takes. It should be enough to loosen it so I can pull it out. There we go. Okay, as we pull the differential out of here, we're going to keep track of these too. You want to make sure you keep them in order. We're just going to set the differential off to the side. There's the seal on the driver's side. Now we're going to use a rod to pound that one out. Yep. Why don't you do the bottom now?
Is that it?
Nope. There you go. Nope. There you go. Now we got a lot of cleanup to do. We're going to clean out the inside of that axle real good. Clean out the differential. Scrape off all the RTV on here. So we're going to start cleaning up.
Yeah, we don't want that.
And there's the old seal we just drove out of the driver's side. So that definitely needs replacement. So we're using some rags, paper towels, cleaning around here and shoving them out the end of the axle there. And next we're going to use a little bit of brake cleaner just to spray in here, get all the dirt and grime out that you can. You want to get a nice clean surface there so you get a good seat with that seal.